Yes, you do.
What's it called again? That's not Josh.
Yes, it is. That's what I said. What you mean?
I don't know. I can't see that. I'll show her where who chose
On the line. My hands are full of lights. Actually, those are not a lot better smelling than the ones in the blue.
They're like public hearing, like half people, and then from here down, we'll have people. And then at the end, very end. And sometimes they'll call one of the managers or staff to come up and
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the Sanford City Commission meeting February 8th, 2021 to order. First item of business is legislative prayer by Reverend Redmond, Assistant Pastor at First Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church. Pastor Redmond.
Good evening to the mayor, city manager, and all the commissioners and all the officials that make up this structure, the city structure. I say good evening to you and thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. Let us bow in a word of prayer. Father, we thank you now for this great day. We thank you for being so kind and blessing us to be here tonight. We want to say thank you for just being God all by yourself. Father, now we want to pray for our mayor, our city manager, and all the commissioners of this great city of Sanford. Also, we would like to pray for our police chief for the city of Sanford as well. Thank you now for this great night, and we thank you again for being so kind to us and allowing us to be here. We also want to pray for all the families that make up this great city of Sanford. We also want to pray for those who have experienced dealing with this crazy virus called COVID-19. Who have taken the lives of many and who have affected many within our city. Again, we want to thank you for all the families. We want to thank you for all the agencies that guide and protect our citizens of this great city. We're also praying tonight for racial reconciliation as we stand against racial violence and racial conflict, as we model and respect, no matter what creed or color. This is what we stand for. We stand for love and respect. And most of all, Father, we come tonight and asking and praying that you will bless this meeting, that all the decision makers will be guided by your will, that they will make the right decisions concerning this great city of Sanford, as they make decisions with integrity, mercy, and compassion. We thank you again, God, for being our God. Thank you for being all powerful. We love you tonight and we praise your holy name. In the name of God, we pray and ask it all. Let everybody say amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. Appreciate it. That will bring us to the minutes, and on the work session minutes, there is a correction on page 2 at the bottom that we had said we'd continue the discussion on February 8th. So, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second. Motion and second. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Brings us to consent agenda A through L, unless somebody wants to pull something for consideration.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passed unanimously. That brings us to public hearings. A, second reading of 4538, Mr. Colbert.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance is entitled an ordinance, the city of Sanford, Florida, providing for the rezoning of real property totaling .042 acres in size, generally addressed as 299 Monroe Road within the city limits, from the county agricultural zoning district classification to the city restricted industrial zoning district classification, provided for the taking of implementing administrative actions, providing for the adoption of a map by reference, repealing all conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, providing for non-codification, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, City staff have reviewed the information provided and has found a request to rezone from agriculture to restricted industrial to be consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. The city's Planning and Zoning Commission shall conduct a public hearing to determine if the proposed rezoning is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the city's comprehensive plan. It is the staff's recommendation that the City Commission approve the request.
This is a quasi-judicial matter and as such requires disclosure of all ex parte communications, investigations, site visits, and expert opinions regarding this matter. And this is a public hearing. Is anyone in the audience who should speak to this item? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Bring permission for action.
Move to approve.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. 7B. Ordinance 4587, Mr. Cooper.
This ordinance is entitled an ordinance of the city of Sanford, Florida, relating to the zoning of approximately 59.82 acres of real property located at 3280 West First Street to create the All Souls Transit Village land development, rezoning the property to a PD zoning district classification master plan, providing for approval of the All Souls Transit Village PD master plan, providing for taking of implementing administrative actions, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for non-codification, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, the city's Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended that the City Commission adopt an ordinance approving the request to amend the plan development zone of approximately 59 acres to modify the land use and design standards for a portion of the All Souls Transit Village G. It is the city staff's finding that the amendment does meet is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan, with more specifically notes related to the parking requirements. It is therefore the city's recommendation that the commission adopt the ordinance with the conditions as specified in the agenda item.
This is a quasi-judicial matter and as such requires disclosure of all ex parte communications, investigations, site visits, expert opinions regarding this matter, if anyone has. This is a public hearing. Is anyone in the audience wish to speak to this item? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing, bring the commission to action.
Move to approve.
Second. Okay, this motion with the conditions as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Brings us to 7C, ordinance 4588, Mr. Cole.
This ordinance is entitled an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Sanford, Florida, substantially and comprehensively revising and amending the provisions of Schedule S, City of Sanford Land Development Regulations relating to historic preservation, providing for savings provision, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and providing for effectiveness.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, Schedule S of the city's land development regulations is one of the schedules being implemented under the zoning in progress statute in order that the city could make a well-thought and rational revisions to address procedural substance changes. The majority of the proposed revisions are to eliminate duplicated and conflicting language and to eliminate sections covered by other city codes and updated processes. Therefore, it is the city staff recommendation the city commission adopt ordinance number 4588.
This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience wish to speak to this item? See no one, I'll close the public hearing, bring it to commission for action.
Move to approve. Sorry.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Ordinance 4589, Mr. Colbert.
This ordinance is entitled an ordinance of the City Commission, City of Sanford, Florida, substantially and comprehensively revising and amending provisions of Schedule K, City of Sanford Code, land development regulations relating to the requirements for the regulation of signs, and Schedule U of the LDRs generally pertaining to overlay districts that as that schedule relates to signage, providing for a savings provision, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, the correction of scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, as the City Attorney has read, this is an amendment to Schedule K and Schedule U, and it's the City staff's recommendation the City Commission adopt ordinance number 4589.
This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience wish to speak to this item? See no one, close the public hearing, bring it to commission for action.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Ordinance 4590, Mr. Cole.
This ordinance is entitled an ordinance of the City of Sanford, Florida, amending Chapter 66, Pensions and Retirement, Article 3, Firefighters Retirement System of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Sanford. Amending Section 76, Benefit Amounts and Eligibilities, subsection G, Minimum Distribution of Benefits, to provide for compliance with the Secure Act, providing for legislative findings and intent, providing for conflicts, providing for a savings provision, providing for codification, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, at the November 5th, 2020 Firefighters Pension Board meeting, the board unanimously recommended that following the sections of the Firefighters Retirement System be changed to comply with the Secure Act. It is therefore the staff's recommendation City Commission adopt ordinance number 4590.
This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience wish to speak to this item? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing, bring it to commission for action.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Ordinance 4591, Mr. Cole.
This ordinance is entitled an ordinance of the City of Sanford, Florida, amending Chapter 66, Pension and Retirement, Article 2, Police Officers Retirement System of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Sanford. Amending Section 6636, Benefit Amounts and Eligibility, subsection G, Minimum Distribution of Benefits, to provide for compliance with the Secure Act, providing for legislative findings and intent, providing for conflicts, providing for savings provision, providing for codification, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, on November the 5th, 2020, the Police Fire Officers Pension meeting, the board unanimously voted to change and modify the provisions of the pension retirement system to comply with the changes in the Secure Act and therefore they are recommending to the city commission that you adopt ordinance number 4591.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to this item? Commission?
Move to approve.
Second.
This is the one, where's Jordan? This is the one that, they were with the design standards.
Okay, but you're moving ahead. You didn't finish that.
What am I on?
This is the police pension.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You didn't
I told
finish.
you I was getting old. So this is a public hearing. Anyone from the audience wishes to speak to this item? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing for action. And we already had a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Now,
This is the one you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you're
Mr. Mayor-
right.
item
They
A.
changed.
Sorry, I jumped ahead.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, staff recommends the City Commission approve the request for city utility services for the Riverdale Oaks Phase 4 single-family residential subdivision subject to a pre-annexation development agreement with all conditions as recommended by the city staff. When utility services are available, the owner shall be responsible for payment of all applicable fees and connections to the city's distribution system with all utility connections and lines to be installed per the city's utility manual standards. The developer will be required to install all water, sewer, and reclaimed water lines to the property at the developer's cost. The annexation petition will be recorded in the public records of Seminole County. The City Commission can consider annexation of the property when it becomes annexation.
So do we need staff to talk to us about this one?
I do. Just to break it down. Chris, do we have this to go on the screen? If not, it's a.
You have the aerial or the plan?
Well, it looks like to me they reduced it by 15 lots.
So we lost 15 lots and their minimum lot size went to 6,000. So,
So there was,
Jordan, I did have another question. So does this currently meet our standards now?
Yes, it does.
Yes?
Yes, and they eliminated 2 lots to the south. They added, the park, along Celery Avenue.
Okay.
So the test that would be for a pre-annexation.
Okay. Any other questions?
no, they do. We previously approved that,
Okay.
right?
What?
We previously
You're
approved
just
the other part of the
approving
neighborhood.
this
for-
area.
Yeah, only the color part is up for approval. All the rest was approved previously. I believe it was approved before we were doing pre-annexation agreements.
Correct.
Right. So we didn't get to voice an opinion on those like we did last meeting.
We're raising the bar.
Right. And I think it's important to once again mention we're only approving this subdivision for our water services, and they will be charged a 25% surcharge, and we will have no other responsibilities for this neighborhood.
Okay, say that one again. We have no other responses, so we don't do police and fire or
Right.
anything like that.
We're not actually annexing it because it's not contiguous.
Okay.
And we have done this with many of the developments out there. And my opinion is, even when contiguous, it's not financially viable for us to annex because we will have foregone all the impact fees that we would use to increase our police and fire protection in that area.
Thank you.
And there's some argument to be made that impact fees don't cover our services. Right, Mr. Bloomberg?
Residential property tax does not cover the cost of public safety.
Okay. So any other questions? Are we ready for motion then? Do we have a motion?
We,
I don't think we have.
oh, we don't, okay, move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Resolution 2932, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, the city staff recommends that the city commission approve resolution 2932 to amend the budget in an amount not to exceed $178,880 and award a bid of procurement to Apion Construction Company of Orlando for the Elm Avenue 26th Street Sidewalk and Drainage Improvement Project.
Anyone wish to speak to this item? Bring it to the commission for discussion or action.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. Resolution 2933.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, the city staff recommends City Commission approve the budget amendment resolution number 2933 and the purchase order issued to Neil Schaefer for the Mellonville Avenue Drainage Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $86,160.
Anyone wish to speak to this? Motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. I'll just use this as an opportunity to talk about stormwater. If you remember, we had the Chase Avenue, Chase and whatever the other next street over came in and removed, the drainage. And I had been working with someone on Chase. I got a message Sunday with a picture, sort of a before and after, where our stormwater crews and staff had fixed that issue, and where she normally would have a lot of standing water, there was no water. So things are getting fixed out there.
And thank you for sharing that. The employees were happy to see that.
Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. 2934, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, it is the staff's recommendation that the City Commission approve resolution number 2934, amending the city's FY21 budget by an amount of $55,585,013. The amendment will make the city's 2021 budget total $195,140,965 citywide.
Anyone wish to speak to this? Then bring it to commission for action.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously. 2935.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, this is a request to temporarily add one new position, temporary unfunded one position in the Public Works Utilities Department. Fiscal impact on the city's fiscal year for 2021 is estimated to be $55,200 and will increase each year by pay adjustments. Funds are available in the utilities budget, and therefore it is the city staff's recommendation City Commission approve resolution number 2935.
Anyone wish to speak to this?
Did you say to unfund, to fund and to unfund?
Correct.
What position are unfunded?
Is this for that extra money's going that you pointed out earlier?
All right, good evening, Commission, Mayor, City Manager. I was hoping Fred Paulson was going to be here, but I guess it's me. So this is what we are doing is a little bit creative. We have our utility engineer, which is a very important position. It involves a lot of work and just institutional knowledge. He's going to be retiring in about 23 months, we have said. Our utility technician is another position. That person got a job somewhere else out of state, so they moved out. So we thought this would be a good opportunity to unfund that position for about 2 years, get another utility engineer that can train under our current utility engineer, learn everything they can, take his position when he retires in 23 months, and then we can go back and hire the technician position.
Okay.
So it's being unfunded for 2 years. We will cover the difference in salaries, of course, and then 2 years later, that position will become funded again, and we can hire a utility technician.
I think it's a smart move when we do this.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish we could do it more often. We needed to do that with Bob Turk's position. Probably need to do it with Daryl's. There's a lot of institutional
Yes.
knowledge we lose when our seasoned, see, I didn't say elderly this time, Daryl, seasoned employees retire.
And that is happening quite a bit more, especially in the next 3 to 5 years. I've seen a lot of people retiring that have been with the city for about 20 to 30 years.
Okay,
That's it for me. I just want clarification. Thank you.
thank you.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimously. That means 2936, Mr.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and the City Commission, this request is to add one full-time equivalent to the police department. The fiscal impact on the city is estimated to be $38,000 for fiscal year 2021 and $52,000 for the beginning of the fiscal year 2022. This will increase each year by pay adjustments. It is the city staff therefore recommending the City Commission approve resolution number 2936 to amend the pacification pay plan.
Okay, anyone wish to speak to this? Bring it to commission for action.
So we're amending the position, I thought this was for a new position.
Yes, we're amending the pay plan to add it,
Okay.
to add the position.
But, in that 52,000, does that include the cost of retirement benefits and all that?
Yes.
Okay. Move to approve. Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Brings us to city attorney comments.
I have no additional items to bring to you this evening. Thank you.
City clerk's report.
I just wanted to mention that it's been about 30 days or so, and I've submitted that we're looking for Sanford Housing Authority members. We do have some applications for that, as well as we had someone fall off the museum, resign from the museum, so we need to replace that. And I'm not sure if you're aware that Steve Essler resigned from P&Z. So as of December, and Zach Miller was our alternate. So normally we would move Zach into the position of Steve Essler. Therefore, we would need an alternate for P&Z. And so I wondered if this is something you want to go forward at the next meeting.
Go ahead.
It's interesting that you bring this up because I understand at the last P&Z meeting, only 5 members showed up. So we have a little bit of an issue there as well. That barely gave us a quorum. So we definitely need to go ahead and fill the Essler spot.
Okay. Do we need time to advertise and get further applicants?
I have plenty of applicants for the museum
Okay.
and the housing authority.
Okay. Did we ever find a resident?
We have not.
So to refresh my memory, we still need a resident member, and then we had added 2 positions.
You added 2 positions
And we had interviewed a bunch of people for those anyway.
prior to that. So I wanted to know how you wanted to, did you want me to just provide you with the applications? I mean, we've got new applications because I've advertised again.
I don't want to interview again. I thought we had some.
I mean, we had some before, but if we've got new applications, I think we ought to at least look at it and see if we want to.
I don't know. I
I mean,
don't think that we should go through that process again when we had, I mean,
I think there were, yes, I agree, there were good people.
And so you do need 2 on that board and then a resident.
Does anybody remember the good people?
yes,
Okay.
I remember 3 actually, and one of them that actually grew up in, yeah, and then she just didn't live there.
Correct.
Yeah, but she was, there were like 3 really
Yeah.
good.
Well, if we remember them, can we go ahead and do that now? Dragged it out quite
I
a few
can
months.
appoint Laterica Hillary.
Tara Hillary,
Yes, she is the young lady that grew up in.
that's one spot.
I'd rather do it at the next meeting.
Okay.
I want to put my list. Betty, I'll make sure. All right, I do remember her.
Didn't we start this in September though?
Yes.
Okay, would you like me to email you the applicants that I have? Would you like hard copies? Or do you just want me to provide them with the next agenda packet?
Yeah, that, just with the agenda packet is fine. I mean, because we already got the opportunity to look at their application, their resume, and interview them, so just,
We're
fresh
gonna
out
do
there.
the exact thing tonight though?
Yeah.
And then we need applicants for
For a alternate.
alternate.
So do we have a motion to appoint Zach Miller to?
Move to appoint Zach Miller to a permanent position on P and Z.
Second.
Let's vote.
We're not done?
We need to vote.
Oh, okay.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously.
Now I'll go and see now.
And I can look through the P and Z applications as well and reach out to folks and see if they're still interested, if they, would be interested in serving on the alternate position.
Now, that last meeting, I understand we had 2 unexcused absences. How many are you allowed?
3?
3? Okay.
I was gonna say 3,
Okay. I couldn't
if
remember.
I'm remembering
I think it's
correctly
3
as well.
during the year,
Okay.
Mhm.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
All right. Okay.
That's an important board. We need people there.
Right. Okay, City Clerk?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. City Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, just want to give you an update. Some time ago, the Commission approved us moving forward with creating an advisory committee on race, equality, equity, and inclusion. Mr. Thomas, Mr. Groot have been working on that, and we're scheduled to bring that to you at the next commission meeting.
Good. Anything else? Okay. And then that brings us to citizen participation. I do have a couple of speaker cards. The first is Judy Cerullo. Will you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Good evening, Judy Cirillo, owner of Pet Rescue by Judy in Sanford, Florida. The reason I'm here tonight is the unjust treatment of animals in our wonderful city of Sanford and the surrounding city of Seminole County. There's a man who's overbreeding, mutilating animals, teaching them to be aggressive, fighting, says he's a trainer. This person has no licenses. He doesn't have a certificate to sell animals. It is just deplorable. It's happening here in Sanford. There's quite a few, unfortunately, pit rings in the city. Animals are fighting. People are coming to Pet Rescue by Judy asking for help. I don't have that jurisdiction. I explained that. We're going to Seminole County Animal Control. Animal Control. We're also going to the commissioners, asking you all to help. The more that we can resolve these kind of issues, be it in Sanford, Seminole, in our wonderful cities, this stops crimes, it stops drug infiltration, it's helping to teach children this is not the way, this is our future. It is disgraceful the way these animals are being treated, and this man and other people in this that are doing this to these animals must be stopped. We have contacted HSUS, they're going to help us investigate. I've gone to the police commissioner in Seminole, and I know our chief of police here in Sanford will help us also, but we need to stop it. We have to stop it immediately in our area, and then we have to help the surrounding areas. This is unjust. It's not educating the people how to treat animals, and then they go to children, and then they go to people. So this is something that we're looking for all the commissioners and the people in the community. You see it, stop it, report it, and we need to have all the commissioners and the city managers to help us stop this. Whatever we have to do, we need you to help us learn what we need to do and work with our people in enforcement to help make this ridiculous, unjust, ungodly treatment to animals. Thank you.
Have you reported the addresses that are in Sanford to either our code enforcement or our police department?
And we went to Seminole County They gave us the impression that it was a Sanford address. I was just informed that it's not, this particular person is not in the Sanford immediate area, but they're spreading down the streets. We know because we get enough animals that are beaten and torn apart that come to us, and then we pay the medical bills to try to fix them up, re-socialize them, and rehabilitate them so they can find forever loving homes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then Elena Sicarella.
Hi, my name is Elena Sicarella, and I work with Judy at Pet Rescue by Judy. And I'm bringing this same issue to everybody here. We have photos of animals being kept, dogs, 2, 3 of them in rabbit hutches. We have photos where this gentleman is videotaping dogs locked together and kind of laughing at it, making a joke. We have videotapes from him posting on his Facebook page of him wearing suits, when having the dogs attack, another guy holding, they're training the dogs how to attack. I have photos of how many babies one dog is having and how they are breeding and breeding these same dogs over and over again. They had a mother tied up outside a pen where her babies are, crying to get to them, and they're laughing. They showed a dog, videotaped another doctor do an artificial insemination on a dog to have puppies. Now I know this is an unincorporated area from what I'm hearing. I'm not very much familiar with all of this unincorporated and everything. But how many animals is enough? Did anybody ever go check if these animals have rabies shots? Are they dewormed? Or the mother taking care of? The area is filthy. This is not the proper way. They're animals that need help. They don't have a voice, and we are their voice. We don't know who else to turn to. I wrote a letter recently to the HSUS. I did get a response, and I forwarded all the photos. The photos we have on paper do not do justice. That we would love to forward every one of you this man's Facebook page so you could look and see the terror in these animals' eyes, these babies. One of them, real fast, was in picking up the infants that were born, looking to see if they were girl or boys. And as they're looking at him, another guy was standing with him, starts laughing. Look at, they're fighting already. These babies didn't even have their eyes open. To me, I feel they are breeding a lot of these puppies to fight. We need to stop it. It just is not right for this to be happening, and we do need everybody's help.
Now, Mr. Benapart, we use Seminole County's animal control for animal-specific things, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so we still go through Seminole County Animal Control, but Mr. Presley, if it was some other code enforcement issue, then the city could address it, but it sounds like this particular one is not in the city.
Yes, sir. If it's in the city, we could address it. If not, we can certainly share the information with Seminole County Code Enforcement.
Okay. Can you make sure that Mr. Presley gets the address?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Okay, and then Matthew Sicarella?
He was speaking about the same thing.
I would think that same thing.
Okay, all right. Thank you for bringing this up.
Can we have,
What?
can we have one of our officers go by and Judy's and take, okay, thank you.
All right, anything else on it?
Chief is in the back of the room, he's gonna have an officer come by and talk to you and gather more information. The more information we have, the more likely we are to be able to do something with one of our agencies.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to City Commissioner. First of all, is there anyone else in the audience that wanted to speak?
Steve?
Then that brings us to, he's going to write off this time. Commissioner report, Commissioner Breton.
Yes, okay, so I have a major issue with community development block grant IPNL Commissioner Austin was saying, that it's so important that we make sure that our boards are full and that they are in attendance. And for some reason, CDBG is not held up to the same standard. Now, I asked for staff to provide me with the attendance log, and since June of last year, there hasn't been one meeting where all of the members have been in attendance. That continues to bother me. We appoint people to these boards. There hasn't been one meeting where all members have been in attendance, and then they've had a few meetings where they have not had a quorum, so they've only been able to have a discussion and not take action. Our CDBG program, I'm bothered by it. Now I want to make a statement too as well, is that all before I used to do these little, these educational moments at the end of the meeting, and I'm going to start back with that and just letting the public know that, you know, under Sunshine State laws, the commission and I cannot speak to one another. So Commissioner Wiggins and I, Commissioner Austin and I, and so forth and so on cannot have one-on-one conversations, but we do
about city business.
About city business, anything that can come before the commission. But there has been several occasions where we have had a publicly noticed meeting where Commissioner Wiggins and I, with the city clerk and the city manager and Mr. Andrew Thomas, we have talked about the CDBG program, Goldsboro District 1, District 2. And out of that, we discussed the CDBG in the meeting, and it has not changed at all. And I'm also concerned about a couple of things that happened last week, but I discussed them with Mr. Bonaparte, and I believe that he had that handled, so I'm not going to go into it tonight. But I am bothered because one of the issues that we had was the economic and community development grants that are funded through CDBG for the Goldsboro area. Now, one of our major concerns was having a consultant, someone that we could work with, that could speak the language of the community, that had the experience, blah, 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 blah. That has yet to be done. And I checked on that last week, and it was a statement that there was an issue with the procurement, with finance department. I just want to know why it takes things so long. I don't understand it, especially because we got additional staff now in the community development office. And I do understand we've had COVID to deal with, but we can't always blame, COVID on everything. The public's notices were supposed to already have gone out for requests for proposals. We are trying to build these economic corridors in our areas of poverty and our low-income areas, and it's just getting held up. And people not attending the board-appointed meetings bothers me. The consultant agreement not being completed bothers me, and the request for proposals bothers me. So this is my opportunity to be able to discuss this with you, Commissioner Wiggins, on record of my disappointment with that, but more so because this is in your district. And that's it regarding CDBG.
Anything else on that? Okay, is that all you had?
Yes.
Okay. But do we get were you asking for a response?
No, I can't talk to Commissioner Wiggins about this outside of that, but I'm expressing my disappointment, and like I said, I've already talked to Mr. Bonaparte regarding this matter, and I just wanted to bring it to the table.
But I do want to say, if we have a pattern of the same people missing meetings, we need to have record of that, and we need to put people in those positions that are going to participate and take it seriously.
Who keeps the attendance?
The staff secretary or liaison to that meeting.
So, does anybody follow up on?
Not to my knowledge.
Until we finally hear about it?
Yeah, not to my knowledge.
Nobody reports into me about anybody's attentions.
Well, the director of that, like if we were talking about P&Z, then I would think that Amy would say, okay, we've constantly had, this board member who's not attending, we need to bring it up. That's how we should know.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, I will get with Mr. Thomas and see what the situation is with the attendance, and certainly if there's a member that is not normally attending, then I think it's 3 absences, and then we can take some action.
But, and I just want to add, it's not one particular member. There has not been all members attending the meeting since June. So it's not just one particular person. It's ridiculous.
Right.
And we don't allow that on any other boards. But for some reason, when it comes to the boards that handles certain areas, we just let that go. That was the same thing with My Brother's Keeper. You know, it's just, it should be across the board. The standard should be across the board because it's important, no matter if we're talking about the historic district or the Goldsboro area. But for some reason, in that particular, we just let things slide by. It just passes by. If things are late, it's okay. If the notices don't go out, it's okay. It's not okay.
I will say that Mr. Groot and I are working on a board policy to be implemented so that all the city boards are on the same page and we're all doing the same thing the same way.
I hate the idea of making work, and I'm afraid this would turn out to be something like that. But it just seems like there should be some attendance record that is accessible.
Well, there should.
I think the records liaison just takes, I know we did a spreadsheet, you know, of, I don't think every board takes it. I don't know that they all take attendance or roll call.
Well, there's minutes for every
But there's
board.
minutes.
The list who's
Right.
there, who's not. And
then we got into discussion of what's an excused absence and what's an unexcused absence.
We need to go ahead and go on record and put something on the table on what we feel is excused and unexcused, and then follow through as well. I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying as far as making sure across the board, should that be in my district, make sure it's all counted.
Yeah, we want to be streamlined so that every board in the city, whether it's P&Z, CDBG,
Yes.
they're all taking the minutes the same way, they're posting the notices the same way,
looks like legal counsel might want to say something.
The policies, as I recall them, are 3 unexcused absences and someone is basically off the board. We can double check it. The question just asked was what's an excused absence and what's not. An excused absence would be one where the board itself is advised of an absence and a reason for an absence, and the board determines it to be excused. If the board does not excuse an absence, it's an unexcused absence under the policy, just for clarification.
And I believe that's how P&Z is handling things.
And I question whether it needs to be excused or unexcused, because if you miss 3 meetings in a year, you've missed 25% of the meetings.
Exactly.
and in the
I
past,
think when it comes to us to make a decision, we can say, oh, well, that person had some extenuating circumstance, and we can decide whether to not remove them. But
and in the past, that has happened. We've had individuals who have missed 3 or more. And that's kind of when we adopted the attendance policy under Mayor Triplett. He wanted to see at the time of reappointments, how are these people, you know, are they attending the meetings? And that's when the spreadsheets came around to take attendance for the meetings. But at that time, we didn't do anything for those who had missed 3 or more. I don't think it's ever been done that we've ever held someone accountable and said you're removed from the board.
Well, maybe we have.
I'm not sure we really ever have.
No,
I think maybe they resigned.
I think it says it in there, but nobody's.
I think maybe somebody called the person and they said, yeah, I'm not going to do it anymore. Maybe that's what happened.
All right, so, but there's a policy being worked on.
Yes, yes.
And while we're talking about this it seems like we used to get copies of minutes of all the boards.
If you'd like that, we can do that. They are on our website. Every department meeting minutes and audio or video of
Has
it.
CRA started getting on there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I mean,
I would love that.
I mean, is it going to be an email that comes and we're like, oh, I'll read that later? Or-
Right.
I know where to find it. So, I mean, and the clerk's office has done an amazing job. I mean, you can go and listen. I can wash dishes and listen to what's happening. I don't necessarily need that, but if you all want it, that's not, I'm not against it, but I know exactly where
And I know that we did CRA when Sheena became commissioner. Kathy took over CRA for several months in recording the meetings and posting them, and now that they have someone, a staff person.
All right. So, all right, then maybe we should also just be looking and seeing who's absent.
I do.
Okay. All right, then maybe we should appoint Sheena.
The board member, please.
You clean whole board up, man. No.
Don't do that.
No.
Okay. So when do you think we're going to be looking at
It should be soon.
Okay. All right. So, anything else on this? All right. And that was it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Reagan.
Oh, you guys, I just want to tell all the city employees, you guys, after with my mom a couple weeks ago, for the support that you guys gave me, it was heartfelt from myself as well as my family. I just want to tell you thank you for everything that you have done. The card you guys just sent up, it truly was a blessing to us all to see the support and the help that you guys gave us through this time. So you all, thank you again.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, just want to say that Pastor Wiggins did a good eulogy.
Yes, I mentioned upstairs that I'm sort of glad he doesn't talk more.
I say
It was
for that.
excellent.
I say for that.
Excellent.
He starts
I
talking.
couldn't have come I couldn't even,
Yeah,
I just,
I could never done
all right, anything else? Okay, Commissioner Ross.
that. I want Mr. Bonaparte to speak on a matter that has happened recently. Kind of once again as an educational moment for our citizens of how the fencing came into play, how the one single entry came into play, etc. I just like.
Sure, and I think I appreciate that Commissioner asked me about that. I just think you did a good job in the Sanford Herald explaining it because he did an article on it. When the COVID-19 became an issue and we needed to have better handle on having people be able to know that they have the mask, be able to interact with them, the staff went ahead and ordered a fence to go around City Hall, so it'd be one point of entry. We discussed that earlier this evening. That was ordered, I believe, in November or so. But because of the COVID-19, the supplies was back up. So it just started coming up. We anticipated being finished within another week or two. But that was what that was put in line for. That was not a commission decision. It was something that staff brought to me and said that so that we can be more in line with making sure that we have a single point of entry to address the COVID-19 issue. It went to Seminole County for approval. They did approve using the CARES monies for that, and that's what's going on right now.
Thank you.
We might want to look at some safety considerations on the back gate where the rail is a railing across the bottom. That's sort of a tripping hazard while there's no gate there.
I'm sure Public Works will take care of that.
Thanks, Eric.
Who tripped?
Did you trip?
I didn't trip.
Oh.
I happened to see somebody that stumbled. And then I thought, it is, there's, the rail across the bottom.
And then you have a mask up under your
Right,
eyes.
All right, anything else?
No.
Okay, I got a couple items. We need to talk about boards a little bit. First, vice mayor, when I became mayor, I appointed Commissioner Wiggins as vice mayor, and usually that rotates. But I think we're gonna start rotating that in June. So it will go year by year from June until I'm no longer mayor, and then it can go back into January. Okay? So you're still stuck. We need a alternate for me for Metro Plan. Metro Plan meets every other month on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. in downtown Orlando. So far, I have been able to make all the meetings because right now they're doing them. It's hybrid, and so like this week I'm going virtually. But they do want an alternate if someone is interested in that.
I can't do it right now.
I'm in school.
I can make myself available, sir.
Okay.
But I have to have somebody to help me with all of these though, like, just to,
What do you mean?
like.
Well, if he's not gonna make it, he's gonna let you know.
Right, okay,
Yeah, but they're going to have you do actual orientation
okay.
for that board. So
Because I remember, like, the airport, you remind me, and then,
Yeah.
you know, what's her name reminds me constantly, but like the CSVG, I don't find out about that one until like the hour before.
that's from Seminole County.
Yes,
Do they not send out?
they send out, it's just,
Okay.
like, everything else is on my calendar. Theirs isn't, so I have to go in and accept it's nobody fault but my own.
All right, and then for the chamber, the former Mayor Triplett contacted me about something for that, and I think I would like to take the chamber for now. And so they're going to, suppose we vote whether to accept me.
Well, I thought you would have appointed
She
Sheila
did.
a few months ago.
We did.
Yeah.
Because Patrick was it, and then you gave it to me.
Yeah, you
But
took
if
it
you
from
want
me
to
and
take,
gave it
if
to
you
her.
want to take it back.
Oh, I want to take it back. Okay.
Absolutely not. You don't get to take all the things.
Yeah.
And they give me the ones where I have to travel to Orlando at 9
Hey,
a.m.
he wants that one because they meet and eat.
Oh.
No, I like that one because it's at a time when I can actually go.
No, I agree, yeah.
So, well, have you been attending?
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't, nobody has given me a notice. I get the one for the museum, for CSBG, and,
Okay.
yeah. I think
Well, we may never told, would you mind if I take that one? Yes, you mind?
No, I just don't. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Take your board.
All right. Okay. Then-
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
having said that, the next meeting is tomorrow.
Right. Well, no, because I checked to see if I was supposed to go, and he told me, no, they have to vote on you.
They have to approve him first. So make sure you vote no.
I already talked about drainage, and that's all I have.